Journalists say they have never seen anything like this in the many decades of Israeli existence. A court in that country has imposed a near blackout on journalism. A story about a young woman accused of espionage. You can read about it here in the United States without any problem. Fox News contributor Judith Miller wrote about it on the website The Daily Beast. But try to learn about this story in an Israeli newspaper, and you can't. Look at this. Most of the information in this article is hidden from the public, and you can see they literally blacked it out. They didn't even cut it out and change the space on the page. They just blacked it out. This is the Hebrew translation of the article that Judith Miller wrote, and this was ordered by the Israeli government. Judith is with us now. She's a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and a columnist for FoxNews.com. Clearly writes from time to time for The Daily Beast. Have you read The Daily Beast? The Daily Beast is a must-stop for me. I got 50 of them, but The Daily Beast is one of them. And I was stunned to read the headline that it was you.
Yes.
I read it yesterday morning, and I'm like, they're censoring what? Give us the backstory on how this happened.
Well, what happened is I heard from some Israelis, I'm not going to identify who they were, Shep, who were very upset about what was going on inside Israel, because they said, you know, look, here's the backstory. There's a young woman who's under house arrest. She is suspected of having copied a lot of classified documents when she was doing her military service, which is required in Israel. Now, she's a journalist, but that's irrelevant to this story.
Yeah, if true, she's guilty of treason,
well,
no matter what.
She did it. She may have done a very, very bad thing. She may have, without authorization, copied these classified documents and given them to at least one journalist and perhaps other people. That's what's being investigated. I understand that. I mean, I think we all understand that every
That's a criminal matter, of course.
Right. Every country has a right to protect its own national security. However, what they don't have a right to do is to make her disappear. She happens to be under house arrest, but no Israeli is permitted to read that in an Israeli newspaper. The military censors immediately went to a court when they understood the nature of this investigation. The court issued a no publish and no broadcast order to all of the Israeli media. So now, even when I write about it in the United States, or The Guardian writes about it in England, or other nations are beginning to pick it up, Israelis are not permitted to know what's going on in their own country unless they read the foreign press. Now, there's something wrong with that.
This is very Fidel Castro. How does this happen in Israel?
That's what a lot of Israelis are asking.
What's the answer?
How does this happen? Well, I don't know what the answer is, because when I call, I get the same, we are not going to comment on this case.
It's a court order.
It's a court order. We don't have the right to do so. I think Yediot Achronot, which is the paper that translated my article, was very brave in even doing that and putting it on the front page. And Haaretz, which is the publication, the daily newspaper.
Haaretz, as we call it.
Yes, the original story by a defense correspondent named Uri Blau.
Oh, he's very well known.
He's very well known, and they published the material. They're standing by their reporter. By the way, he who published her material, we believe, it's not clear that it came from her, he's not saying, but he has fled to England because he doesn't want to be asked about his source. He doesn't want to be pressured into revealing who it was that gave him this information.
We are broadcasting right now into Israel.
Right.
This is a prime time program, and we're one of the highest rated networks in Israel. They watch us. What is going on over there? I'm serious. It looks very, I mean, let's back up just a little bit. This is the same government that chooses to announce these settlements against which the United States was very firm. I mean, we're quiet in the public.
Right.
But behind the scenes, it was firm with Israel. And then the vice president shows up and they announce they're expanding the settlements with a kind of this to a, and now there's this. They're censoring journalism. And I mean, they've always done it when they're in wars. They limit what you can report during wars. I kind of understand. I don't understand this.
Well, they limit what you can report about national security in many areas, but there's always been an understanding that when the information appears in the foreign press, it's fair game for Israeli reporters. So, you know, I think that Israelis are wondering what's going on inside our own country that we're not permitted to read this. You know, what distinguishes Israel from a lot of its neighbors is that Israel's always been a democracy. It has a free and a vibrant press.
Wrong.
it has huge debate, but to have something like this happen just raises questions about the kind of government that and government policies that Israel's begun to adopt. Now, I do never consider myself anti-Israeli. I think that in writing this, I was simply trying to explain to Americans and our Daily Beast readers and to Fox viewers what's going on. And the fact that I wasn't permitted to do that inside Israel, I think raises some questions about this government court order. It is going to be challenged,
It raises
by the way,
some
Shep.
questions about this government.
Well, first of all, the judicial branch is, like our country, somewhat separate from the government.
Yeah, sure they are.
But on April 12th, the Haaretz is going into court to challenge this order. So let's wait and see what happens.
All right, we will wait and see what happens. They just gave us 30 more seconds.
Okay.
I'm guessing you're getting hate mail.
I'm getting a lot of people.
Because anytime you say one single word that isn't "we love you, Israel," you're an anti-Semite, which is disgusting as well.
I really resent the notion that because I'm expressing the views that a lot of Israelis are expressing, that all of a sudden I'm anti-Israeli. I do not consider myself anti-Israeli, but I consider myself a proponent of democratic government in Israel and in our country, and I think we want to support those values everywhere.
And we'll be right back.